Imagine you are the ruler of the most powerful empire on earth. Legions march at your command, the treasury overflows, your words can decide the fate of millions. And yet, each morning before the sun rises over Rome, you write to yourself, "Today, I will meet people who are meddling, ungrateful, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and unsocial." Why would an emperor, the most powerful man alive, begin his day with this warning? Because Marcus Aurelius knew the greatest kingdom to govern is the one inside your own mind. But Marcus was not alone in this battle for self-mastery. Centuries before him, a slave named Epictetus discovered freedom in the only place it truly exists, our thoughts. And before Marcus, the wealthy statesman Seneca learned that life's brevity makes every moment priceless. Together, these Stoic minds have left us a map, a guide not to ruling nations, but to ruling ourselves. And in our world of endless noise, distractions, and anxieties, their wisdom is not just ancient history, it is a survival manual. Marcus Aurelius was born in 121 AD into privilege, but not into luxury. Even as a boy he rejected the silk and gold of the imperial household. At 12 he began wearing a rough philosopher's cloak and sleeping on a hard bed, training himself in discipline before the crown was even a dream. His teachers noticed something rare in him, a quiet mind in a noisy world. He wasn't chasing pleasure or status, he was chasing wisdom. And this was no accident. Marcus was already devouring the works of Epictetus, a man whose life could not have been more different. Epictetus was born into slavery around 50 AD. His master could chain his body but not his mind. From his cramped quarters, Epictetus began to ask dangerous questions. What is truly in our control? What can never be taken from us? His answer, the only thing we ever own is our ability to choose our response. When he was freed, Epictetus did not chase wealth or power. He opened a school of philosophy. He taught that suffering comes not from events, but from our opinions about them. If you wish to be free, he said, stop wishing for things to happen as you wish, and wish for them to happen as they do. These ideas would one day shape the thinking of an emperor. Seneca lived before Marcus, in the court of Emperor Nero. He was wealthy, powerful, and dangerously close to a ruler's madness. But his writings show a man who saw the trap of luxury. He wrote, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." He warned that death is not in the distant future, it walks beside us every day. For Seneca, philosophy was not about escaping the world, but about living fully in it, with purpose, with courage, and with urgency. Marcus would later echo these lessons, writing in his journal, "Do not act as if you were going to live 10,000 years. Death hangs over you. While you live, while it is in your power, be good." At 17, Marcus's life changed forever. Emperor Antoninus Pius adopted him following the wishes of Hadrian. It was more than a political move. It was the transfer of Rome's future. For 23 years Marcus trained under Antoninus, not just in the art of ruling, but in the art of patience. Where others sought dominance, Antoninus taught restraint. Where others saw enemies, he saw citizens. Marcus absorbed it all. When he finally became emperor in 161 AD, the philosopher's robe and the imperial purple became one. Marcus's reign began in crisis. Wars erupted on distant borders, floods devastated the countryside, and then came the Antonine Plague, killing millions, including some of Marcus's closest friends and family. Through it all, he turned to his private journal, not to brag of victories, but to remind himself, be just, be calm, be in control of yourself. Epictetus had said, don't explain your philosophy, embody it. Marcus did exactly that, not with speeches, but with actions. Marcus did not rule from a marble palace alone. For years he lived in military camps, writing in a tent by candlelight. Snow fell outside. The distant sound of battle echoed, yet his words were about kindness, humility, and self-control. In the freezing forests of the Danube, Marcus practiced what the Stoics preached. You cannot control the cold, but you can control your mind's reaction to it. From Epictetus, Seneca, and Marcus, we can distill three unshakable principles. Perception. See the world without distortion. Don't be ruled by fear or desire. Action. Live with justice, honesty, and kindness. Will. Accept what you cannot change without bitterness. Marcus applied these daily. When insulted, he remembered, the best revenge is not to be like your enemy. When burdened, he told himself, you have power over your mind, not outside events. Marcus lost several of his children. The grief could have broken him. Instead, it deepened his compassion. He reminded himself daily, everything is only for a day, both that which remembers and that which is remembered. He understood, Life's fragility is not a reason for despair but for gratitude. You may not be an emperor, but you are the ruler of your own mind. In our age of constant distraction and outrage, Stoicism is more relevant than ever. Try Marcus's morning reflection. Before the day begins, expect obstacles, then decide how you'll face them. Practice Seneca's urgency. Remember that time is your most precious currency, and apply Epictetus's control check. Ask, is this in my power? If not, let it go. If Marcus, Epictetus, and Seneca could speak to us now, they might say, stop chasing what fades, rule yourself before you try to rule others, accept hardship as training, and remember, you could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Empires crumble, wealth vanishes, even memory fades. But character, the empire within, remains. Marcus Aurelius ruled the Roman world, but his greatest victory was mastery over himself. That same victory is open to you. If you found wisdom here, imagine what we can uncover together from history's greatest minds. Subscribe, and join me on the journey to rule the only empire that truly matters: yourself.